have to switch all this over for left-handed. I don't know if I showed everyone this or if people have been showing it. We have this absolute badass Razer keyboard.
Yay!
And mouse. Okay.
Oh my God, you can just see the bird's butt now.
Should we leave it like that?
Lord.
Okay.
Good morning.
Here, you have to scoot in a little closer.
Bob Cooksey here, and
Stephen Donnelly. We're the Shroud of the Avatar, our team, concept and environment.
yay!
And we're ready for all your art questions. Before we get started, we want to say thank you for all your contributions and participating in this. We are having a wonderful time, and we want to remind you that we've got 2 days left. And I know tomorrow night and definitely Saturday night we're going to be online. We're going to be running pretty late. And I know at least one person will probably be drinking, so it could be slightly entertaining. You think maybe 2 people would be drinking?
I'm not sure.
All right. Let's scroll down here and see what we got.
By the way, before we start, I asked Gina to put up 2 screenshots of some interior environments that I've done so far. So that should be coming up on the page pretty soon. So, as promised from yesterday.
Excellent. Hygrid says, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Hygrid. Good morning, community. Morning, Vampire. Wondering if that's directed at me. It's funny you say that because it's actually goth night at Swan Dive, a local club on Red River in downtown Austin here, and I'm going. Let's see. For Mystic, at both, what resources do you guys find yourself going to for inspiration for the art and design in Soda?
That's a good question. Well, where do you go?
You started.
Well, for instance, when we get feedback that we need things to be grander or bigger or something, then we just start to brainstorm about like what kind of statue we want to do in this environment, and then what we can do with color and light to make it more striking. I know that I personally look at the real world for most of my environments. I don't look at other video games to make them. I look at the real world. And I think when you see my stuff, you'll see that everything is to scale and just uses real world elements, but in a kind of weird way. I think when you see the shapes that I've incorporated into the altar scene, I think that will illustrate what I'd like to do with textures and shapes and that kind of thing.
So inspiration for me for art and design in the game. So as fate would have it, being in downtown Austin, we're actually in a building that's very close to a lot of churches, and these churches are all built with limestone. So literally our walk every day is past these beautiful limestone walls, which are very reminiscent of castles. So it's an inspiring place to work. We look at other games, we look at films, we discuss things, we look at exotic locations, and a lot of places in Europe. Actually, now that it's been at least 20 years since the Iron Curtain came down, there's a lot of castles in what was Eastern Europe, which is now Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Poland, even the Ukraine, if I remember correctly, and Romania, and people are vacationing there and taking these wonderful shots. So we're trolling people's vacation photos to find great reference.
Yeah, and also
we look at the world around us.
Yeah, I like to incorporate, like, say, the general structures of Western European churches and castles and that kind of thing. But for the textures, I tend to lean more toward like an Indian super, meaning India, not Indian, American Indian, but super complex patterns that they sort of mix and match. I sort of like that. I think it's just sort of a unusual approach to use. So, you know, we draw from all over the place, really, I would say.
Yep. All right. Morning, Bob and Steven. Morning, Smack. The Brain. Hello, and thanks for the opportunity of submitting art models. You are very welcome. We're excited about that.
Yeah, thanks for the help.
Lord Toast, hey, it's the guy who designed Ghostbusters game.
I didn't design it. I was the lead environment artist on it.
So you built it and made it look absolutely stunning.
Parts of it, yeah.
From Highguard, do you have to be a backer on Kickstarter to submit art?
That's a good question. I would guess not.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know a question came up yesterday about video feed and watching the art team. Chris can answer this better than we can, but our understanding is at a certain level of contribution to the Kickstarter, you actually get to watch our video feed all the time. I can't remember what that is, so I have to look it up, or when Chris is back online, definitely ask him. But for those of you that want to see what artists do all day and the things we discuss, and yeah, you can. All right. Nice news. Morning, guys, from Lord Toast. What's up from Darkblade? What's up? Let's see, from ND3G. Can you guys go over how the new developer tools will work? No.
No. Because we don't know yet. We're right now working, well, Steven's just working in Photoshop, and right now I'm just working in Photoshop and Max. But, you know, what we do later has not been determined yet. Yeah. So
those kinds of questions, Rick, Lauren, Bob, and most definitely Chris will answer. Chris is the man with all the answers. All right. From Lanica, Bob, the raccoon herder. Bob, the raccoon herder.
There were no incidents last night, but I did feed a stray cat that shut up. The damn thing likes popcorn. I had some popcorn that I was eating with the sandwich, and I just threw it outside thinking birds would come and get it, right? But it was the stray cat. So it ran from me, and I put out some raw hamburger when I saw it because I felt sorry for it, and then it came back and ate it. So I felt
Is this the white cat with
No, this is a different one. In fact, all I saw at first was its tail, and it's the kind of brindle, you know, color that looks just like a raccoon tail.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, damn, this raccoon is getting aggressive. It's coming during the daylight hours, but it was actually a cat with a really fluffy tail. Yes. So I took pictures of him. I should put it on my Facebook page.
You should.
I think people think I'm making this crap up, but I'm really not.
No, it's all true. I've seen the video of Bob being bitch slapped by an alligator guard.
Yes, that's a good one. Everyone seems to take perverse joy in that video.
It's because Bob benches like 350 pounds. So.
Well, 300.
Okay, 300, sorry. I keep upping the number on him. He doesn't appreciate it. All right, for Mystic, yeah, Goth Night, definitely.
Is it even still called goth? Or is this a retro kind of thing?
I have no idea. I haven't been before, so I want to check it out. Right, so that was my scene back in the 80s, the 90s.
Steven is dark-sided. Dark-sided. So he's going to go to Goth Night.
From, what's that? Yes, Holly. Hi, guys. Are you going to be the character portraits for NPCs? Most definitely Bob is.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No. My face looks like a moccasin. Why would you want me to be in there?
This guy, I look at him, I see a fighter.
He said I was grizzled looking once.
But I meant it as a compliment.
Weathered. well weathered over the years. The
Bob-
years have not been kind.
Bob reminds me as like a senior police detective. He's got a cup of coffee in one hand, a cigarette in the other, and he just doesn't even blink when he has to put down a perp.
Yeah, that's true.
Are we
When I-
offline again?
No,
Okay.
no, actually, I was going to make it possible for you to talk about your images.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm going to sneak in here,
and go to screen chat.
and they can have a great view of my shoulder.
Okay.
Excellent.
And in just a few minutes, I'll,
Show up down there.
yep, and then I'll link the pictures.
Yay, thanks,
Wonderful.
Gina.
But I have to keep
Thank
the
you.
volume off because we're having a very super secret meeting in there, so.
Really?
Yes.
Without us? I'm kind of betting that all the
They're
super secret
discussing us.
meetings happen when we're not there.
Exactly. Yeah, I do look like a cop because when I go to a concert and people are smoking weed, if they turn around and they look at me, they sort of, it's like Moses parting the Red Sea. They just sort of move away from me. So yeah, I do think most people think I'm a cop for some reason.
Might be the haircut.
Not, yeah.
The broad shoulders in the picture.
Arrgh. I cut my
So-
own hair, as you can see, it's startling in many ways. Okay,
All
next
right.
question.
So to answer that question, are we going to be NPC portraits? I don't know. If we can, we're definitely going to put ourselves in there, without a doubt. We'll try and put the whole team, and if we get a system that we can do it, we'll start putting the community in there. That would be really cool because we need a lot of NPCs. From Andy Z275, I'd like to see some more in-game screenshots and an update like the prototype.
It's Gina just came in and she was talking about getting the pictures of the environments up on the screen here. So we don't have actual in-game shots yet, but these are models that will eventually make it into the game. The models are done in Max first and then brought into Unity. So that's how it works. So until we get the lighting, good lighting in Unity, which we just haven't experimented enough with, I've been lighting the stuff in Max. So I think it turned out really nice. So
It's beautiful. Unity uses Beast, if anyone is familiar with lighting applications for games, it's a great one. If you've seen the game Mirror's Edge, it was the first time I saw Beast at work, and it's a wonderful lighting system. So more in-game screenshots like in the prototype. That is not going to happen. The stuff that you will be seeing is probably going to be further along in the process. Okay, from ND3G, how exactly will they be able to contribute in the in-game art?
we have not worked out the specifics of that, but we are thinking about going to crowdsourcing, they're calling it now, where I'm sure that we'll put up a post saying that we're going to need certain items for, say, a dungeon or whatever, and then sort of dole those assignments out, and I'll be in charge of saying, guys, you can't use 10,000 textures on this little altar here, you've got to make it in one, and also give you a rough polygon count. And the last version of the story that I heard was that even though we use your asset in the game, you are also, we don't have how do you say it, exclusive rights to it,
Right.
and that you can just go ahead and sell that yourself and make some money. And so it's sort of killing two birds with one stone, and everybody's happy, hopefully.
Yep, and you'll get credit for it in the game. And we are actually very soon going to be putting together a art spec documentation with examples and reference.
Style guide. Yeah.
Style guide.
Yeah.
Yes, along with an art Bible, so you will have an idea of exactly what we're looking for.
And guys, if you're looking to break into the field and you're frustrated that nobody gives you a chance, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get stuff in a real game and get your name out there. So.
All right, Fire Lotus has put up some art, actually a piece, and
Can we make it bigger?
trying to see what the deal is with it. How about screen share? Is that going to work? No. All right, come on, let's take a look here. There we go.
Isn't
All
it
right.
that slider right there?
Well, it's actually, we're just pointing to her desktop.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's loaded in. Bob, you want to talk about this piece?
Well, that's just an altar. It's looking kind of dark on the scene. Monitors, vary drastically. But anyway, this is just while Stephen is doing concept work, I wanted to dream up sort of a sacrificial altar room that's sort of dark, where some of the other stuff is going to be a lot brighter. And what I had imagined here is that you're sacrificing somebody on this altar that's in the background, and we're going to get a particle effect going. And the person who's being sacrificed is going to be kind of bobbing in the air, kind of unconscious and limp. And the pillars that are kind of in the foreground have got shackles on them. They're kind of small. It's hard to see. But in different sizes to sort of give the idea that monsters and humans both can be sacrificed here. But anyway, I like the ornamentation back on it's kind of hard to see because it's so small here. But I've got some pretty cool ornamentation on the window, which I think worked out well. We've also got a castle picture that should be coming.
Yep. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see that, and I'm understanding how this Google Hangout works. From Wayne at Art Guys, any chance of uploading personal photographs that can be used as a texture map for character faces? Honestly, that's pretty far down the road. I don't know. I had mentioned earlier about NPCs. Are we going to use some of the people of the team, or are we going to be going beyond that? Right now, I don't know what the answer is. At some point, it would be really cool to take people that are in the community and try and put them in the game. So hopefully that'll work. From Lord Darkmoon, have you guys been to Germany or plan a visit to a European country to look at all the medieval castles and ruins there for inspiration?
We'll graciously accept the
Yes.
plane fare.
I'd be happy to go.
No, I've got tons of books on Roman architecture and Victorian architecture and all kinds of stuff. So vicariously, we do get to look at these things.
We research, and a trip to Germany, or for me, southern France and Italy, I'm all for it. But no, we have no plans to do that. Maybe a vacation. Solace Vale. The river maps look awesome. Has a shot of UO look a bit more detail. Not sure what your question is about. In reference to the maps,
Yeah, not sure.
if you can word that
Sorry,
in a
man.
different way or give us more detail, we'll try and answer that. No problem. Oh, Darkblade lives in Germany. If we come to Germany, we're
sneaky.
going to come stay with you. Oh, I had yes, that would be awesome. And yes, actually come out for South by Southwest. Best time ever. Austin is so much fun. Okay, from Jotun at Stephen and Bob, what kind of items would you like submitted from the community in terms of 3D renders, swords, armor? If so, could we get a generalization of dimensions, as well as maybe some human models, etc., etc.? We don't know yet. We are just starting that process right now, and we will put together a style guide for you, reference, and provide examples of the bar that we need to hit.
Right, and as far as scale is concerned, you should always, when you're going to, start something in Max, you should set your units to meters, and 1 unit should equal 1 centimeter, and set your grids to meter grid spaces, and then just do everything to real world size, 7-8 foot doorways, that kind of thing.
From Sear, if by left-handed you mean wrong-handed, no, I mean
Ouch.
right-brained. brains. Let's see, from Andy Z275. Wow, yeah, that's beautiful.
Looks cold.
It does, kind of snowy. We got. Oh no! Wait, hang on. Go hang out. Where'd you go?
Can you get it? So those hangouts right there.
Hang on. How did I do this? Technical difficulties. User error. Chat. Oh my goodness.
Gina, help!
No, hang on. We got it. Google Hangout and then Shroud Avatar Forum. Where'd the Shroud Forum go? This is not good. You want to go grab Gina? So, I am a Firefox user, and with Chrome, I'm actually hitting the wrong button when I close something to look at and inadvertently closing the tab with all your questions on it. So it's going to be coming back here in a second.
Gina's to the rescue.
Thank you, Gina. Oh, really? It's that easy?
Yep. That's why I get paid the big bucks. There you go.
Oh, thank you so much. All right.
Thanks, Gina.
My apologies for that.
Do you need me
Definitely.
to pull it into another window? I can have both.
Okay, you got it. User error. Okay.
That it was.
Where are we? Let me turn scrolling off. We got some funny stuff in here. User error. Okay, so at Archive says, follow up to my previous question, the reason I keep asking about photographs for character faces is that RG keeps saying that our avatar in US, so my question was asking about my character, not an NPC. Oh, now I completely understand that. I don't know the answer for that for the launch of the game, but definitely down the road, modding capabilities are, if they're not part of the launch, they are coming, and yes, you will be able to put your own face on your character. That, totally get that. That's definitely coming, and that's actually pretty easy to do once we open it up to modding and that sort of thing. All right, user error from Lord Toast. Lord Merlin, art guys driving a computer, is that scary or what?
Ouch! Watch that tone.
We know how to draw pretty pictures on the computer and build things.
Whoa.
Okay.
Youch. Tough crowd.
Yes. At Lord Toast, he's an artist, not IT.
But we are gloriously talented.
Yes. All right, it's Stephen and Bob. I'd like to send a sketch from my vendor, Juan, and also for my NPC, Carlos. When will be the right time for me to send these sketches? Do you want to send... Oh, you want to send the sketches to see if we can put the characters in there? I totally get it. That is the kind of thing that we will be announcing and talking about with the community. It is definitely further down the road, but it is something we're going to be doing. We're having a great time chatting back and forth and involving the community like this. My sense is the more and more we can do it and the more things we can involve you in, we're going to.
Yeah, but just understand that we are at the sort of pre-planning stage right now, and just because something doesn't get in for launch does not mean it necessarily won't. So we'll just keep adding to the mix until we get a game that everybody's perfectly happy with, hopefully.
Yes, and addicted to. Like crack.
Easy.
All right, Lord Toast. Good point, Kagan. Good point. Elaine, why use a clunky thing? I think this is the best. Control-Shift-T will reopen a closed tab. Thank you, Rista. I appreciate that.
You looking for a job?
Yeah.
Managing the artists
Yes.
and the live chats.
From Lanatir, will you keep doing these sessions after the Kickstarter campaign is over? I don't know. The Google chat, definitely. And then depending if you are at a particular level of supporter for the Kickstarter campaign, you will have access to a feed for the different teams. So there's an art team feed, there's...
Right,
Exactly.
and it could be that we might be too busy to keep doing this once we get into full-scale production, but once again, we might have that camera behind us thing going on, and it might come down to like Richard or Chris just being the ones that do the live chat. We're not really sure yet, but we'll be doing them for I guess, I wonder if after even Kickstarter is done.
I hope
It's
so.
only 2 more days.
I know. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe we'll do it
Are
after
you
we go to
guys
happy
liking
hours.
this? Do you want us to go and get all Goldschlagered up and then come back and do the thing? It'll be more lively.
All right. Lord Toast, my own face on my own character. Now I can be ugly at two versus. Let's see. Two levels of community. God. Community. Fire Lotus. Where are we? Thanks a lot. I'll be working on it with my friends. Do the drawings have to be in 3D Max? Could AutoCAD renders work? Okay, from Joking. Do the drawings have to be in 3D Max? Could AutoCAD renders work? Actually, they're produced by the same company, Autodesk, and it has been many years since I've imported CAD into Max, but I can't see them ever doing away with that function. So yes, they can be in CAD.
They can be, but are you talking about creating in-world assets, or are you talking about just doing sort of like laying out a scene in AutoCAD and seeing if we like it?
Or are you talking about like 3D digitizing of like your face to put your character in, put your face on your character in game?
Because you can export files from CAD that we can deal with in Max. However, when you start jumping between that and then Max and then getting it into Unity, it's probably better if you're doing in-game assets to actually do them in Max. It's one less place for things to go wrong.
From Jotun, no, I'm sorry. All Gamer at Stephen and Bob, any chance to have some nice shade sunglasses in game, MIB style? So I live in sunglasses. I think that would be great, but that's probably a question for the design team. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and they would have to have a medieval bent, so I could see like some round mirrored specs or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Have we actually answered a question yet? Like a
Nah, we're dodging your questions as best we can.
I didn't get hollered at yesterday, but I'm trying to be more conservative today.
Apologies, it's already been asked, but this is from Lady Ath. Will there be an age restriction to play Soda? Just wondering at what age I can get my kids to play. I don't know. That's a good question. That's definitely a question for Richard and the design team.
I know I personally would like it to be all ages.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I have a 10-year-old and I would love for him to be able to play the game. And yeah, he's going to play it anyway because I'm kind of a,
Well, it's going to depend on, of course, the content that we actually decide to put in there. I mean, if there's a lot of blood and guts, we're going to at least have to have a warning on it.
Right. And it would be cool if you could, I know with Gears of War, there's a way to turn off the swearing and the blood and guts in the original one, so you can actually make that a teen-rated game as opposed to an M-rated game. So we'll see.
My
Sorry, we
sense
don't know
is-
the answer to that one either.
But my sense is that I think Richard would want a family-friendly game.
Okay, this is from Mika at Artist. Do you think you'll create multiple vendor options so we don't all have the same homeless guy standing in our yard?
I didn't understand that.
So a lot of games just recycle characters,
Oh.
the variation. We are definitely going to try. We've both worked on projects where technology for NPC generation is implemented, so you get a lot of variation. You can very easily change cloaks, clothing colors, you can adjust it, you can swap out heads and skin tone, hairs, hat styles. It all depends on how you set it up. But we don't know the answer to that question yet either. We just know it's possible, and it's definitely something we want to do because nothing is sillier than playing a game and getting a mission from a person and then being down in a dungeon and then rescuing said same person from that dungeon, even though they're different characters. It breaks the illusion, and no one here wants to break the illusion. Okay. From Ip Keys on the sketches, hopefully we answered that. From Owain, Art Guys, I asked this at the start, but it might have been missed. But will you be able to dial your own level of gore displayed in-game so my granddaughter won't be traumatized, but I can cover the blood, my vanquished enemies following a fight if I so choose? We don't know the answer to that. It is something that we certainly want to do because we're, well, not all of us. Lots of us have families and completely know what you're talking about. The first thing will be determined is the play experience that Richard wants to craft. And if that experience does have violence in it or it's bloody, gameplay feedback, seeing someone when they get hit and stuff is always really good, then yes, certainly we'll put some tools in there, but I don't know at this point. We'll have to be further along in the process if those are needed, and if they are, when we'll be implementing.
But that actually brings up a good point. When you ask a question like that, are you saying that you guys want blood and gore? Because that's the kind of stuff that we need to hear about. So, just sending them to the, those kind of comments to us will help us sort of craft what we're going to do here.
All right, for more Dark Moon. If we get to the Underworld Catacombs stretch goal, could you give some hint of how this underworld would look like? Giant glowing mushrooms, big caverns full of giant spiders, etc. Will it be like a complete world just underground?
What I would love to see is if you actually look at these caves that are recently discovered that have the big gems and stuff and the mineral, the crystallized forms and all that.
30-foot tall crystals.
Exactly, and also the whatever wildlife we might put in there would be albino, blind, probably. I'd like to see that. That's actually a good question. My next task is to start working out some underground tunnels, and let me give some thought to that. But yeah, I can see us going wild on that and doing the big crystals and, maybe some sort of mutated bats that are bigger than real bats. And
Fly around on.
yeah, exactly.
So it's funny that you ask about underground. I'm working on another environment concept right now, and the next one on the list is underground caverns, catacombs. I don't think it's going to make it for Kickstarter, but it's probably going to be the first environment image that gets posted right after Kickstarter. here. And that's not public knowledge, so I probably shouldn't have said anything. So there's a little bit of leaked information for you. From Kaigan, Bob and Steven, yes, let's start at you. Let us stare at you while you're at work.
Yikes.
You'll probably get a
I
kick
feel
out
so
of what
violated.
So at a certain pledge level, you'll actually get that feed. So you can see what we're doing day in and day out, if I remember what Chris said.
Yeah, it should be endlessly fascinating too.
Yes, because it's the conversations vary anywhere from G to not G.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll try to be on our best behavior.
We will. It won't always work. And we'll have the chance to see our little emotional synchronicities.
The word that I was trying to come up with to describe you as opposed to me yesterday, but I couldn't think of it,
Yeah.
was you're much more genteel.
Genteel. All right.
I'm more blue collar.
Yes. Can we go with white collar? White collar, blue collar?
Yeah.
Okay, that's much
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
Chris.
Prissy? I didn't.
Prissy.
Oh, I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
No, I said snotty.
Snotty.
Snobby.
Snobby.
Snobby. No, I never use that word. No, he's just more of a traditional art guy. I'm more of a architecture,
He's beer.
outdoors guy.
I'm single malt scotch.
He's Dom Perignon champagne.
I don't like champagne.
I'm friggin' Jenny Cream Ale. Breakfast of champions.
Can I tell him what you really like?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't care.
Bob is Bud Light and a shot of Goldschlager.
Yes, and I've been dogged mercilessly because of my taste in that.
I thought he was making it up, and I didn't think it was
Really?
for real. Yeah, when you first told me, I'm like, Goldschlager.
I know what everybody tells me. I never even heard of Goldschlager until 5 years ago, but apparently high school kids tend to get drunk on it at their prom.
Back in the day, they don't do that anymore.
What can I say?
Okay.
Maybe we'll film that as well. And not
Higgins
hit the
says we
jackalope.
won't make it weird. I'm not worried about you making it weird. We're already weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to worry about us making it weird.
All right. From Pyro, yes, get Goldschlager up. Sounds like an excellent time.
I've got other ideas as well, but just kidding.
You definitely want to tune in Friday and Saturday night, because I know there are at least going to be a few of us here in the studio that are, actually there might be a lot of us here in the studio, so we'll probably run out for a little bit, we'll come out, we'll hang out, and honestly we're going to be socializing with you, so it'll be fun. Let's see, from here, scroll back to 11:10 a.m. where you left off. You got it. I'm going to scroll back here for a second. Dun, 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 dun.
Uh-oh. What's this bird's name again?
Tippy.
Tippy is slowing down.
All right. I'm not seeing. Close enough. Oh, if someone submits art, they are a backer? Is that what we're talking about? The castle example? Hang on a second. New window. Sorry, missing it. So let me see if I can come back here. And where were we? Meeting. getting caught up on the chat here. I'd also like to mention, I know earlier we talked about me being left-handed. Every mouse in the studio is a right-handed mouse, no joke. As soon as I get an opportunity, I'm bringing in my own just normal mice. Okay. Let's see, like assets. Juan Suarez, my NPC, the most handsome man in the world. He was considered at the last contest. That's from Ipkeys. Let's see, from Gadget, in-game screenshots, in-game art, like a picture of me killing a troll. Can I either hang over my fireplace mantle or sell in-game? I don't know. That's a question for Chris and the designers.
Might be a good idea.
Yep. Excuse me. Sounds cool. Jotun, like weapons and junk items. Hopefully. Deathblow, it's Steven. Could you talk a little more about how Frazetta has influenced you? Yeah, I showed this yesterday. If you've seen it, I will apologize.
He influenced me as well. I'm a big fan.
Where are the pictures of me? So when I was a kid, I was 8 years old, or actually this is an image of the tattoo I plan on getting. It's Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer, painted in 1974. And when I was a kid, I had wandered into a head shop when I was hanging out with my grandparents in a mall in Weymouth, Mass, south of Boston. And I saw this puzzle of the Death Dealer, and it just blew me away. The image has always stuck with my mind, in my mind. My favorite Frazetta painting is the Barbarian, and I thought about doing that, and it actually would fit better on your back, but I'm going with the Death Dealer because that really was the catalyst, my first time that got me thinking about fantasy art. How Frazetta influenced me. This is a bit of an interesting story. So I grew up reading Heavy Metal magazine, loving Frank Frazetta, and my best friend Dwight and I sat down at the art room my sophomore year in high school, and he sat down next to me, and the first thing he asked was, do you like Frank Frazetta? It's like, yeah, I do. And we've been best friends heading for 30 years now. So I always wanted to be a fantasy artist, went to art school, wanted to do book covers, had a real hard time getting into the industry. I actually worked for an engineering services firm. And in the early 90s, I was planning on, giving up art, just leading a white-collar lifestyle, slacks and a tie, working in an engineering firm, managing a CAD graphics team, and working with an architecture department. And so I thought, I always wanted to be a fantasy artist, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I want a Frank Frazetta painting. So I looked up Frazetta's number at the museum, and I called and said, hey, I want to buy a piece of art. Who do I need to talk to? And the guy at the Frank Frazetta Museum gave me a number and said, here, ask for Ellie. So I call, man answers, I ask for Ellie, passes me over to Ellie Frazetta, Frank's wife. And we start chatting. And I ask her, I tell her, look, I was always a fan, I want to buy a painting. And she asked me how much I wanted to spend. And I'm like, well, I don't know, $4,000 to maybe $12,000 would be my max. And she laughed. And she said, honey, his paintings start at $85,000. This was in '94, and I know Frazetta's painting before he passed away, The Berserker, went for $1 million. So,
Wow.
It's really cool. So something unusual happened. Ellie is Irish, and Frank is Italian. My mom is Scotch-Irish, and my dad is Italian. And so we started talking, and our conversations quickly moved to just like family and friends and growing up and the issues of Italians and Irish getting along, because we both dealt with the same kinds of things. As the months rolled by, and actually this was spring, summer of '94, Ellie and I kind of just became friends, talk occasionally on the phone. It was really nice. And I would never talk to Frank because I was just like too in awe. So I finally talked to Frank, and he hooked me up with an Egyptian queen print that he did a remark on that was phenomenal, and then invited me out to the opening of his show at Alexander's Gallery on Halloween 1984. So my best friend Dwight and I went, and after that I interviewed 2 weeks later at TSR, and from that moment forward I have done nothing but fantasy art, and I've never looked back. Games, traditional, whatever. That is a long-ass story. Sorry if I bored you. But the truth is, a big part of who I am and why I am is because of Frank Frazetta. So
I think that goes for almost anybody that's into comic books or video games or science fiction or fantasy, anything really. I mean, it'd be hard to find somebody who hasn't been touched by him.
Yeah.
And in an appropriate way, of course. No, but seriously, I mean, he used to illustrate all the heavy metal covers, not all of them, but a lot of them. He was just all over the place. I mean,
yeah, if you've ever seen this documentary, Painting with Fire, it's a awful documentary. I don't know who made it, not good. But one of the things they talk about is how Frazetta reinvigorated the paperback pulp industry. Back in the 50s and 60s, they would reprint Burroughs and, I don't know, Conan stories. And the publishers at that time, I think Ace, were selling like 10 to 15,000 books. They put a Frazetta cover on it, and suddenly they were selling hundreds of thousands.
I believe it.
After a few Frazetta covers, it went into the millions. So literally in the late 60s, into the 70s, there was a renaissance in the paperback industry because Frank Frazetta covers were so coveted, it got everyone's attention. All right, it is 11:50, and that is a lot of talking. Okay, so next one is the brain. At Bob, Max or Maya? What do you prefer?
They're pretty much both the same, almost at this point. No, man, you guys keep going, man. The rumor that went around about 5 years ago is that when Autodesk purchased Maya, or the other way around, that Maya was going to start to be sort of shifted over to do mostly movie work. And that just never seemed to really happen. I think because so many artists and games prefer Maya. I mean, some people do, some people don't. But totally switching one to another medium altogether, I don't think worked out too well, and people didn't like it. But I prefer Max personally. But
I prefer Maya, but I have more mileage with it, and if I'm UVing, then I want to use Max. All right, from the Knighted Nerd, I love that name. Guys, other games have extensive character creation options at startup. Height, weight, hair, style. What options will be available for character creation in Soda? We don't know. That's a game design question. So, boy, Chris, B, Richard, maybe even Lauren, because he's going to have to do the tech for it, would be able to answer that question. From Ipkeys at Bob and Steven, you are cool guys, a great job I've seen so far, in my opinion. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. It's actually a lot of fun, and I think we're getting addicted.
We're getting better at it. I did not want to even do this at first because I'm kind of shy, like with public speaking, and I thought it was just so weird, like talking at a camera. You know, it's just something I wasn't used to, but thank you for saying that.
Yes, and having the chat open and seeing the questions and the names, it makes it a lot easier, much more personal. All right, from All Gamer, laugh out loud, understandable medieval looking sunshades would be cool as well if the design team is okay with the idea. I agree. Hopefully we'll see something like that. From Transit. Belgarath Tower as a house. That would be wicked. That would actually be really wicked. That's from the Belgariad series of books. We'll see what we could do about that. I'm going to have to go back and read that. That's a good idea. From Jotun, will there be a good selection of beards? I don't know.
Guys, we are totally striking out on all the character modification questions, so
We are.
I know you're just trying to torment us,
I
but
know we would like beards. Bob is Swedish, and when he told me that, I tried
partly, yeah.
partly Swedish. I tried to imagine him with like a big Viking beard, and it hit me. It's like, yes,
Celtic bear. Brr.
he's totally Scandinavian. He's just
Nordic.
clean cut Nordic. Let's see. 70 hours to go for the Kickstarter homepage, the final countdown. Yes. Okay. Where is Dippy Bird coming from today? As far as I know, this is Chris's Dippy Bird. Sorry, Bob, I'm blocking.
Sorry.
We're just going to show off Dippy's butt. How's that? It's Chris's bird. Let's see. From Fire Angel, 24/7 live feed. Yes, but I'm guessing, like the wee hours from, 10 till 6 or 7. There's probably no one on, but I might be speaking out of turn. I know Friday and Saturday night we plan on doing some things here, so could get out of hand.
I've got a raccoon that might be interested. Those are the hours he keeps. Hey, Bandit.
All right, from Aelith at Artis. Yes, blood and gore. Don't make it too cartoony. Turn off gore option would be perfect. Yes, I agree. Actually, I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I do too.
From Bodine Band, we want UO style dismemberment screw family
Oh
friendly.
my God. Savages.
So I don't know where we're going to go with that. And we pay attention to family friendly. It's like you make your game for the experience that you want to create for the player. And then you take a step back and approach it as, oh, hey, adults are really going to love this. There's always going to be someone who wants to involve their family. So let's give them the tools that they can do that. And I know you're being funny, so it's okay. No worries. Let's see. Owain, Bluefin Gore and persistent bodies of the slain. Yes, we want it all, but selectable. Okay. Persistent bodies of the slain runs into a huge technical limitation, and that's why you don't see piles of the dead that you've killed in games sticking around.
It messes up the navigation mesh, for one thing. It's like we actually plot little lines around in the game that the characters can run around on, and if you block that, any kind of destructible scene, like for instance on at Terminal Reality where I used to work, we used to do fully collapsing buildings for a demo that we did at one point, and the debris just kept blocking the path of like the tanks that were going down the street or whatever. So you just have to be really smart about where you put stuff like that, because it can be more of a problem than it is a plus.
At Artis from Meka, definitely a turn off gore option. Yes. Let's see. From Fire Angel, and there you see the two gore non-gore extremes. That's the best part of community, is we run it all, and we're very much enjoying the feedback. Okay, last question coming from All Gamer, and I know you sent this at 11:38, like 20 minutes ago. For those that have questions, we'll be back a little after 11 tomorrow morning on Friday to answer them. How about some Randito bandanas, thief or ninja mouth masks or headgear? It's more for the cool factor to break away from the typical helmets and leather caps, etc. I don't know how far we'll go in exploration, but we will definitely be exploring alternative styles and looks and that kind of thing. So,
But that
That's
being
gonna
said,
happen.
Richard is very much a stickler of, like, if he does a game that's supposed to be in a certain era, that he wants everything to be consistent with that era. And so bringing things in from, I'm not sure how he'll feel about that. And I don't know.
yeah, we'll
Just have
see.
to see.
All right, last thing is for Ristra. What? I miss leak stuff. Can you say that again? Someone was asking earlier about caverns and if that was going to be in the game, and I was just saying that once I finish my current environment piece, caverns is next on the list. I don't think it'll make it for Kickstarter, but it will probably be the first piece of environment art up on the SOTA website after Kickstarter. But don't tell anyone. Hopefully, yeah. Don't get me in trouble. All right, I'm Stephen Donnelly, concept art lead for Shroud of the Avatar team.
Bob Cooksey, lead environment guy.
Thanks for spending some time with us. We look forward to doing this again tomorrow morning, a little after 11. Have a great day, and thank you for all your questions, and thank you mostly for supporting us and being part of the community.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.